Hi, everybody. This is Mike, and today we're going to talk about a lot of information that's been released. So at this time of the crop year, we have estimates coming out. We have a few different acreage reports that have kind of come out on the same day, and more information kind of to come. So we're going to just talk about the information that has already been released and kind of what that means to the market and kind of where things are going. So the first estimate that's come out has been from Terra Nova. That came out at 2.29 billion pounds. They're using bearing acreage of 1,390,000 acres. That's slightly up from the year before. And they're using an average yield per acre of 1,650 pounds. So that's a pretty dramatic yield per acre decrease than what we've seen in the 2022 crop. But I think if people have really walked fields kind of across the state, I don't think you can really argue with that number at this point in time. So what's happened to the market since that Terra Nova numbers come out, it's gone up 15 to 20 cents depending on the item. Buyers are a little reluctant to really jump in, but I think sellers are even more reluctant to jump into the market. So you have a dynamic right now where you have more buyers than you do sellers, and so the market feels like it's going to remain kind of on the path it's on now, which is firming. So that was a Terra Nova number. That's kind of the market dynamic. So today what was released was the Land IQ Acreage Report, and that is done by Land IQ. They're based out of Sacramento, and we've covered them here before. We've interviewed Joel Kimushu, who's the CEO and founder of Land IQ, and we've covered some of their reports in the past. But just to maybe refresh a little bit about kind of Land IQ's methodology and approach, I'll just read from their report here. Land IQ draws upon multiple lines of evidence, including agronomic and remote sensing knowledge, unique field boundaries, robust on-the-ground verification, customized image analysis, artificial intelligence, and machine learning algorithms to classify almond orchards. And they also do quite a bit of ground truthing. So guys are on the ground, double checking, this is what the image says it is, and this is what it actually is. So what did Land IQ say? Land IQ is using a bearing acreage for the 2023 crop. This is their initial estimate, and they'll true it up again in November, but they're typically pretty close, 1 to 3% accuracy, 1 to 3% variance between this number and the true up that will come out in November. So they're using 1,366,000 bearing acres. That's an increase from last year of just over 2%. It's actually one of the smallest increases in bearing acres that we've seen in recent years. And in this report, they also talk about pushouts. And so they're saying that just under 78,000 acres were pushed out. Now, that is one of the largest increases that we have seen in recent history, and that's up 30% from last year. And I think there's a little bit of a caveat here, and this is why Land IQ will true it up again in November, because there are trees that I'm sure a lot of people have seen that the irrigation, the drip hose has been taken out, but the trees just haven't been pushed over, or trees have only just recently been pushed over, and that's not really baked into these numbers. So that's why Land IQ is going to come back in November and true these numbers up to see what was actually truly pushed out. So I would expect that 78,000 acres to increase. By how much, I don't know. So what also was released today on the same day was the USDA National Agricultural Statistics Service also puts out their acreage number. Now, all of these numbers kind of vary because based on methodology and kind of how they do it. So I'll read a little bit about how NASS does their reading. So the major source of the almond detailed data was a questionnaire mailed out to all almond growers from our list of almond orchards. The mailing was sent out in October of 2022. The questionnaire contained previously reported crop, variety, and acreage information pre-printed. Producers were also asked to update the information with new plantings, removals, and other corrections. New growers were mailed a blank questionnaire. Growers were given time to respond by mail. Telephone follow-up was then undertaken. Data collection ended April of 23. To arrive at the estimated almond acreage, NASS considered information provided by the county agricultural commissioners and Land IQ, as well as data collected from the almond nursery sales report. So it's a little bit of a different approach to coming up with their acreage number. And their acreage number they came up with was 1,380,000 80,000 acres. That was an increase of about 30,000 acres from the year before. So you kind of have a little bit of competing information here. Again, Terra Nova was 1,390,000, NAS was 1,380,000, and Land IQ was 1,366,000 acres. And typically, Land IQ believes they're 98 to 99% accurate with imaging or identifying an almond orchard. So what does kind of all of this mean? We're really kind of splitting hairs at the end of the day. It could push, if you believe in a 1,650 pound yield per acre across the state, this really only pushes things 40 to 50 million pounds one way or the other. But I think what it really shows is that bearing acreage really is growing at a very small pace. Pushouts are rapidly increasing, and in November they'll talk more about the total standing acres, and I think that we will see the total standing acres of almonds in California continue to decrease at a more increased rate than we've seen in the past. So again, to wrap all of this up, we have a lot of information that's coming out. The almond market right now is currently firmed and feels like it's going to continue on that path. The next piece of information that we have is going to be the position report for April, and that's going to be released May 11th. And then the subjective estimate, which is basically a phone survey to the almond growers, will come out May 12th. So a lot of information on the horizon. The market's moving in the right direction, and the next few pieces of information will continue to influence pricing. So thank you very much. This has been Mike.